If you're headed on a cruise soon, or planning on one in the future, this is the video for you. Today, I'm going to share with you some simple tips and advice that will keep you from getting sick on your cruise and help you enjoy your time on board. Welcome to another travel edition of Family Med, your medical home for practical and accurate information to help your family make healthy decisions. If this is your first time watching, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Eric Richardson, and my passion is helping you cut through all the health information clutter on the internet. So if that sounds like something that you and your family need, then make sure you follow along with us. Hit that subscribe button and share it with your friends. So a common problem while traveling is that we spend a lot of time planning all the fun things we want to do, but we don't put a lot of thought into the small things that can derail that fun. So no matter where we go, this can be the case. But when we talk about a cruise, there are some specific things that may get you in trouble, so it's important to prepare before you leave. So let's talk about them. First of all, the first thing you should do before going on any cruise is take a visit to the travel website from the Centers for Disease Control. This is a great resource where you can look up each country that you'll be visiting and see if there's any specific health recommendations there. More specifically, it lets you see what kind of immunizations you may need at each of the areas that you get off. It'll go through precautions that you should take, especially related to the way that you can avoid infectious diseases specific to that area. I highly recommend that you visit this well in advance of your trip in case there's any immunizations that you need to get to protect yourself. Now, another place you can find this information, that could be the local health department or even some medical groups have a travel medicine clinic where you can find out what you need. The second thing that you should focus on is deciding what you're going to do to avoid getting seasick. If you're prone to this, then you should prepare for it because once that ship leaves port, you're committed. Now, these ships are typically really big, so most people do just fine. However, if you're sensitive to it, being sick the whole week is not the way you want to be spending your time. So what's available to help you through this? Well, there are a lot of things out there, some more effective than others, but we'll try to go through some of those things that are most common. We'll start with the one that you can get from your doctor. This is called a scopolamine patch. This is a little patch that you put behind your ear that can help control the effects of motion sickness. This is probably the best studied and therefore the most proven method of helping control symptoms. Now, it can work a little bit better than your oral medications because when you're seasick, your stomach, it doesn't absorb things as well. So medications you take by mouth may not get digested. The best way for these patches to work though is if you apply them the day before you're going to need them. And then they need to be replaced about every 72 hours. They don't work as well if you wait till you start feeling sick to take them. Now, the biggest downfall of the patch is that it can cause some side effects like a dry mouth, constipation, feeling a little bit cloudy, and sometimes some drowsiness. The other downfall is they can be expensive. Currently, on the day of filming, the average price for 4 patches was between $30 and $60, depending on the pharmacy, not including the trip you need to take to your doctor to go get it. So let's talk about some of the over-the-counter options. Probably the most common ones are your Dramamine type products. They come in a drowsy and a non-drowsy type. Your more drowsy or original formula is made up of something called dimenhydrinate. Your non-drowsy formula usually have a medicine in it called meclizine. Both are antihistamines that help decrease the effects of motion sickness. Now, these are most effective and are better if you take them 1 to 2 hours prior to being on the ship. The dimenhydrinate can be taken every 4 to 6 hours, while the meclizine is a once-a-day dose. When they've looked at which one is better, the dimenhydrinate oftentimes have the edge, but you typically get a little more drowsiness than with the meclizine. Both can have the side effects of like dry mouth, the cloudy head, and even the drowsiness. Now, other options that are out there would be the other first-generation antihistamines like Benadryl or one called chlorpheniramine. They're slightly less effective but can still be helpful. Now, the same kind of side effects would apply. So make sure you talk to your doctor about what would be best for you and follow the instructions on the box. Now, just a side note, the newer antihistamines like Zyrtec, Allegra, or Claritin, they haven't been found to be helpful with motion sickness. Now, the biggest limiting factor to these medicines would be the side effects. However, most who are prone to seasickness agree that it really beats getting sick. Now, what are some more natural ways it might be helpful? Well, one of them is ginger. Raw ginger, ginger tea, ginger ale, or even ginger capsules. All of these have been shown to be helpful in decreasing nausea associated with motion sickness. Now, one study in naval cadets showed that taking 1 to 2 grams of ginger prior to motion exposure significantly decreased the amount of motion sickness. Remember though, just because something is natural doesn't mean there can't be problems with it. Ginger can cause some diarrhea, acid reflux, gas, and some mouth irritation. Also, and more important, make sure you check with your doctor if you're on any medications, as ginger does interact with some. Most importantly, if you're on blood thinners or certain kinds of high blood pressure medications, there may be some interactions and this may not be a good option for you. Another option you could consider are acupressure bands. These have been studied, but the results have been mixed. Some say it works and others don't. The good thing about them is there isn't any known problems with using them. So those are the main things that have been studied to any great length. There are certainly a lot of other products out there. I'm curious to hear if you have anything that works for you. If so, let me know in the comments below. So besides medications or supplements though, there are some things that you can do yourself to make it less likely that you'll be sick. Some simple things that you can do are, you can look at the horizon or a distant stationary object. You can avoid reading or looking at a screen while moving. Staring at a stationary close object while you're moving confuses your brain and can lead you to feeling sick. Also, get a good night's sleep before you start on the cruise. Now this one may not seem to be a problem for most on a cruise, but actually eating frequently can help. But try to avoid the real spicy or fatty foods. But having something light in your stomach can help. Also, make sure you get plenty of fresh air. Head outside. A cool breeze will really do wonders to clear your head. And if that doesn't work, try and stay towards the middle or the lower decks of the ship, as these are the areas that move the least. Then, when all else fails, remember, each ship has a doctor on board, with great medical facilities that can help if it gets too bad. So the next thing we're going to talk about is how to avoid getting sick from other people on the cruise. On a cruise, you have the amazing privilege of spending your vacation with about 4,000 of your newest and now closest friends, and inevitably a few of them will come on board sick. The most dreaded thing that we're trying to avoid is that awful norovirus. This is a viral infection that spreads rapidly, causing significant diarrhea and vomiting. It is typically spread through touch or respiratory routes. Vomiting and diarrhea can last for 2 to 3 days, and you can still spread the virus for a couple days after that. So it's easy to spread, so it's important to protect yourself. The best way that you can do that is wash your hands. The cruise ships do a lot to try and prevent it, but it won't be enough. Wash your hands as much as possible. Avoid touching things in public and use hand sanitizer when you can't wash your hands. But be especially careful at the buffet. In fact, I'd recommend that you use some hand sanitizer after going through the line and before eating your food. And even if you can minimize your time at the buffet and take most of your meals in the dining room, you're less likely to be exposed. Now, certainly I don't recommend spending your whole time paranoid about germs, but taking some simple precautions can help you avoid it. Now, the fourth thing you should focus on is adequate water intake. Make sure you're getting plenty of fluids. Dehydration can increase your likelihood of getting seasick, as well as making it harder to fight off any illness that may come your way on the ship. Now, alcohol is a common source of dehydration, so make sure you keep your alcohol consumption to moderation. I recommend getting the bottled water from the ship, not only to have something easier on board to drink, but also you can take it when you get off the ship. Now, the fifth tip we're going to share is make sure you bring your sunscreen and use it. You want to make sure you bring something with at least an SPF of between 30 and 50. You want to make sure you apply it liberally and often. Make sure you apply it at least every 2 hours or sooner if you're sweating a lot or doing a lot of water sports. Not only do you want to avoid getting cancer in the future, but you want to make sure you're going to enjoy your trip. The only lobster you should be enjoying is at the gourmet restaurant, not you. Also, did you know that getting a sunburn decreases your immune system and makes it more likely that you can get sick of something else? So make sure you're protecting yourself. So the sixth and last tip I'm going to share with you has to deal with the food that is there in abundance and here on the ship. Cruise ships are not known for their moderation, and certainly it's fun to indulge a bit. But if you're already at risk, sudden excessive intake of fatty foods can put you into a gallbladder attack. This is a very painful condition that may require surgery. A cruise ship is not where you want to have this happen. Also, make sure you're keeping your alcohol intake in moderation. Sudden, excessive intake of alcohol can lead to things like pancreatitis, a very painful and dangerous condition, certain heart arrhythmias, and even alcohol poisoning. So enjoy your time and even indulge a bit. Just keep it within reason and you'll be sure to have a great time. So that's all I have for you today. This certainly isn't an exhaustive list of things that you can do to keep yourself healthy on a cruise. Nor does it touch on all the things that can go wrong. But hopefully it's enough to help you think about simple things that you can do to make sure you have an incredible time with your loved ones, as I did with mine. Now, I'm a cruising novice, so maybe there are some tricks that you use that I don't know about. Let us know in the comments below about what you do to avoid getting sick on your cruise. So hopefully you found this information to be helpful. Remember, go ahead and like, subscribe, and even share this with your friends. It really is key for me being able to continue to produce this kind of content for you. So until next time, this is Family Med with Dr. Richardson. And remember, take care of your body, because it's the only one you have.